The Ethics of Artificial Intelligence in Society by Zenzo Ewer. In our first class discussion, we had to read a paper by Walter Maynard titled Unique Ethical Issues in Information Technology, in which he spoke on that specific topic. One of the examples he brought up was someone stealing 1 penny from individual people, but it was a million individual people, and the fact that that created a unique ethical issue, and that some people don't understand that as stealing. I don't know how that's not stealing. It's not theirs to begin with. That penny was never theirs. Because I didn't know my penny was stolen doesn't mean it's not stolen. It was stolen. I don't know it was stolen. But some computer record can say that it was stolen. And this ethical point is going to exist when it comes to AI as well. And most people can't afford to have someone taking money out of their account. Designing artificial intelligence before we know the ethical impact on society is unethical. One of the predictions about artificial intelligence is that it could potentially become a super intelligence, and it may decide to wipe out humanity, and it would have the capacity to do so because it is a super intelligence, too intelligence for us to control and stop. Hence, humanity's extinction lies within our own creative, naive, innocent grasp. AI can't completely be understood because the data used to create them isn't completely understood. And that's, we're not just talking about purposeful data bias, we're talking about statistically speaking, because statistics only takes a part of it, the demographic, and then there's a margin of error in pretty much all statistics and data. So if we don't understand the data completely, we can't understand the AI completely. AI in military use may cause a certain amount of ethical processes and thoughts to pass across the mind. But currently, AI control over as it pertains to precision weapons doesn't exist. But in the future, I mean, that's always possible. That's not something that was said, but I am forecasting and saying, potentially they might want to do that to save human lives. And so, are we going to have, can we control the AI that we put out that are sent into battle if we don't even have fail safes for them? Another issue with AI is going to be that as it's learning, it outgrows our fail safes. And right now, I mean, they're not really any fail safes. The fail safes are more theoretical than some of the applications that are in place right now. And this is in terms of, I mean, if there was not a doomsday situation behind this, I wouldn't be saying this. But there is a situation behind this that says that, hey, you may want to make sure that artificial that fail safes are created at least at the same time, and the theories of them. From a benevolent point of view, AI could be used in stockbroking, for example. And, you create an AI stockbroker, and it has a stock algorithm of some sort that can you know predict stocks. Now, when you make this and you make the AI, of course, there's a potential for imbalance in the situation, or great balance, because you could use the AI to ensure economic balance throughout the world. But one of the problems with AI is that in and of itself it can be hacked, and if it has such a great, such a powerful um, position, and then it gets hacked, the market economy could fall apart. Or the other imbalance, which would be in a negative sense, is that wealth could be accumulated by those who are already wealthy. Because when the artificial intelligence come out, they're probably going to be expensive. Some people aren't going to be able to afford a stockbroker AI, especially. And then that AI is going to be making them even more money and disrupting the balance of wealth further. Do enough checks and policies exist to allow for AI to autonomously drive on our roads? Um, it's just common sense. Lives are at risk. I mean, when two people are driving, there's already issues and lives lost in accidents and things like that. And so now, if you have an AI driving on the road, um, you know, is there are we going to have to respond differently as drivers when we know it's an AI? Hey, that's an AI. We have to do something slightly different. Just stop. It will stop. if it has to make a decision between two lives, one is young, one is old, or three, because it's a transport, it's a public transportation, so there's someone inside the car, inside the vehicle, and two people on the outside, and now it's making a decision about keeping the person inside alive and the people outside, and isn't even thinking about life and death, or is it just driving, making sure it doesn't knock into anything? So it might not look at hitting a post as any different from hitting a human person. So that's an issue in AI and public transportation. That's definitely going to cause some situation. And then blame. Um, who's to blame? The algorithm, the creator of the algorithm, the programmer, the AI itself. How can you blame AI, and then society for allowing AI to drive with no policies in place? Now, that's the direction. That's the blame that I'm trying to make sure that we avoid. Can an AI understand what culture is? This is in terms of an AI police robot. It's going to have to understand culture in order to inflict the law properly. There's some cut and dry things, yes, but they're going to be people are people. We don't we're not straight lines. So you can't create algorithms, a police algorithm that's just going to look at us as a straight line. It's not possible. Enforcing the ethics behind the creation of AI. AI is being created globally in different countries. Not only do we need to get them together, but we need to get them to agree on the dangers of AI. And then this they're creating AI for economic purposes, their personal economic purposes. I mean, it may. I'm not saying it's not going to help society. It's just saying that their motives behind it might not lend itself to a lot of regulations and policies. And so we're gonna that's something that's going to need to be looked at. How many people know the real that Terminator is a legitimate prediction of what AI may potentially do once it becomes a super intelligence? Once it comes online, it might decide, hey, all humanity needs to go in order to keep peace, or whatever reasoning is in its algorithms. It's a super intelligence. We might not even figure it out before it destroys us. So policies don't need to just be made; they need to be made public. Um, it's not so optional. I mean, music, explicit lyrics have a label on them. Somebody says, "I want to destroy the world." There's graphic, it's a graphic thing to say. But when we're building an artificial intelligence that might actually destroy the world, there's not a label on it. So there's definitely going to need to be a label of some sort on that, or the ethics behind AI might not be very sound. Doomsday AI. That's I mean everything about the AI is calling it a doomsday potentially situation, and then we may actually mix technology with AI and cloning. So now there's a bunch of dogs that want to AI dogs or something like that want to destroy humanity. It's not going to. That's not ethical at all. It's not going to help us. And right now those policies and implementations don't exist. Not on a country scale, not just in the U.S., but on a global scale. And it's been created on a global scale, so the policies are going to have to be affected on a global scale, and the agreements are going to have to be made on a global scale and implemented on a global scale.